Sweet eternal balance followed is good, true, and beautiful friends. Welcome to Middle Path this Thursday night. I'm back. We're at it. I'm excited. I hope the audio and everything is working fine. Let me know if it is not. I had a real hot mic last time you saw me, and we figured it out. We made it work. It was all right. It's just this, it seems to change every time I get on, and you know the deal. So hopefully everything's better tonight. We've got a few people in the chat on a Rockfin. We've got a few people over on YouTube. Maybe not, actually. No one's there yet. We'll get a few people. I am sure of it. I just wanted to do this episode tonight to talk about our spiritual path, about stepping into our spiritual path, about finding that flow state. And I know we talk about flow all the time. There's flow state. We've talked about all the time with, like, especially athletes. It's much more popular to talk about it that way. It's very materialist, so we're allowed to. But this true idea of actual spiritual flow, when people are channeling, when we're doing readings, or things like that, spiritual healing, that level of flow, to really step into that is interesting. We're going to talk about the sort of response of the universe when we decide to step into that flow, and how that kind of goes, and what spiritual lessons we can learn, how we can then take that and apply it, and how we can be ever more prepared to create even more flow within ourselves, specifically in that way. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about that today. Of course, we're going to straddle the middle path, as always. A little bit of light, a little bit of dark. We're going to see our way through that. Oh, what's up, Jenny B in the chat? Always good to see you here. We got Tina Bina over in the YouTube chat. And of course, this is a Rockfin exclusive. It is for supporters only. The link is right below you, wherever else you might be seeing or listening to this. If you're listening to this and not the audio of this exclusive content, then you need to sign up on Apple Podcasts and get the subscription so you have content like this and all the other audio exclusive content I do. That's the way to get this show that is only for supporters. Those are the two ways to get the show. If you want to be a supporter, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you who are already supporters. It's cool to be a supporter on Rockfin, especially because then you get everybody else's content too. If you're doing Apple Podcasts, then I know you really love me. That's only me and my content on there. So Rockfin is special like that. And it's really nice for me. It really is a good support for me. It really does allow me to keep doing the show forever and ever and ever. Amen. So I love that. I love being able to do that. Before we go to just the supporters, however, and cut the YouTube feeds, we are going to look at a few things. As always, I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying fall. We brought in the fall with the equinox back here with one day of brightness a couple weekends ago. And then this past weekend, which is going to fill a lot of this talk that we're going to have today, I did a spiritual fair. So I've had a lot of intense spiritual weekends. If you are still sad that you missed the equinoctial one day of brightness, we've got the solstice coming up in December, and one day of brightness will happen again. Every time it's different, every time it's amazing, every time it's healing, every time it's beautiful. I say this to people, and I don't know if people really understand it, but really, anytime we're in connection with source, we're healing. That's all there is to it. And so when people get a tarot reading from me, they're receiving healing, right? And I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. I am not trying to make it seem like more than it is. That is actively happening when you receive a tarot reading. It is not true when you receive a tarot reading from everyone, because not every tarot reader is literally connecting to source, and not every tarot reader is choosing to do that, and not every tarot reader is aware that that can even be something that's happening. And I didn't even know for a while that that is what was happening. It's very obvious to me now that that is what is happening. And there's symptoms that let you know that that's what's happening, right? And so whether you're doing a sound healing with me and it's a deeper level of healing, doing a guidance session or receiving messages from your guides and allies, still the healing is coming through. You can't be in connection with source energy and not be healing. That's just the end of the story. So one day of brightness is another healing event. Even if we're not doing direct healing of one another, we're healing ourselves by being in connection, by bringing this intention and creating that field. So I'm still high off of that. I'm still excited for the people who are going to do that with us this winter solstice. The tickets are, of course, already available to you if you want them on rogueways.org. But yeah, lots of healing for me. And this is the other side of the coin. This is a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight too is that when you are a channel for that healing to come through in any capacity, whatever method you've chosen, right? Whatever channel you've chosen to allow it to come through, whenever you are doing that for others, you're also doing it for yourself. The healer is healing themselves constantly, right? Constantly. So that's also a beautiful aspect of this. So let's see here. Let's jump in. Oh, hold on. Man, this is such a different screen share that I get like confuzzed. I get a little confuzzed. Let's do it this way. There we go. So I do always like to bring your attention to the site, rogueways.org. There's just so much here. The books that I have written, some of which are channeled that you can buy directly from me. You can even receive an inscription from me. The inscription is a short channeled message to you. I love it when people buy the quadruple book bundle. You can get all 4 books from me at once with a much less than if you bought each one individually. And then they get 4 messages, and that's always fun for me to see how they change and progress. It's really cool. Actually, I love that. So some people do that, and that's a fun thing. All the links for Rogue are here. My link tree is on here. The links to the Telegram chat on the Rogue tab. You can get to all the different places, all the video platforms. There's a lot of them. We're on Rumble, we're on BitChute, I used to be on DTube, but I just gave up because I don't think anybody goes there. But all sorts of stuff. So you can find all the various Rogue links there, some of which might surprise you. Lots of testimonials. There's always more and more that people are sending me, and I just try to add them all because there's no reason not to. And because you may as well go and see what random strangers around the world think about their healing that they've received from me. And then the spiritual support tab is where you can directly just schedule a session with me. The shop is where there is orgone, crystal jewelry, there is Rogueways bottles, all kinds of stuff in the shop. The 1 Day of Brightness tickets are there. The weekly meditations that I lead are there. The meditation membership, I should say. You can also click on gear here and go get yourself some Rogueways merch. All kinds of stuff. I have so many of these shirts. I actually love the quality of TeePublic, which is where they host the shop. I have a sweatshirt. It's like the thickest, fluffiest sweatshirt I own. Their t-shirts are awesome. I don't just say this. I buy this stuff for myself. So when you buy this, I get a little kickback, which is really nice. But you also get to support what you love, show other people what you're into. And some of these designs are just awesome. Electric Chicken is one of my favorites. That's the sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful shirt. And so I try to throw some of our inside jokes, some of the taglines, some of the catchphrases for the show up on there as well. You can get the Audible audio book of Sine Curve of Aeons. It's super well done. Chance Garten of Innerverse, of course, produced that. And he did a fantastic job. If you like to listen to stories, you will love this. I am so excited. I know it's so slow. Anybody who's been paying attention knows how slow this is, but probably like halfway through or more for the 3rd book, the final book. And the story blows me away. It's fucking mind-blowing. I, as you may know, channel this through as well. It's not direct channeling word for word messages like I do during guidance sessions, during the channeled messages I've been doing more and more of, but it is a different kind of channeling. It's they plop the story down, they plop the scenes into my head, they plop the characters in, and I just describe what I'm seeing. It's a little bit different. So that audiobook is available. Of course, the physical book, like I said, you can get from me. You can also get it at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, etc. But I also have classes here at Thinkific, rogueways.thinkific.com. Lots of different classes, and these are just available for you anytime you want. So they're go at your own pace. You can do Finding Spiritual Allies. That's the newest one. It is more like a drum journey than anything. If you remember, I do shamanic work. I'm a shamanic practitioner and healer. And so guided drum journeys are one of the things that I provide for people. And this is one in which you find your spiritual allies, especially if you don't know your spiritual guides and allies, those that you're most connected with at this point in your life. This would be a great class for you to take. There's the meditation and resource library. I think there's like more than 20 downloadable guided meditations there. So if you enjoy the monthly meditation memberships, but you'd rather just have a variety available to you at any given time, that would be a good choice for you. I'm going to add more and more to that all along. There's some triple class bundles, the Open the Door to Tarot bundle, and more. There's a tarot class for beginners. There's also Deeper into Tarot if you want to follow that up. There's a free class, Mantras and Manifestation. There's Intro to Chakras and Empowerment, Psycho Spiritual Protection and Etiquette. I highly recommend that one first, no matter what else you may do. Both just outside of me and what I provide, and for what I provide, I just think that is a great place to start. If you don't already have a strong idea of how to keep yourself protected, that's a great class to take. Another triple class bundle is Open the Door to Your Depth. So those are worth looking at. They save you a lot of money. Then there's also the Intro to Meditation and Self Mastery. It's not free, but it's the cheapest one, and it's a really good one. So especially if you're someone who thinks you can't or don't meditate well, it's a really good class to take. They're all mostly video and lecture and experiential. So that's the type of classes I offer there. I also, if you don't know, and then I'm going to shut up about what I do and go on to some stuff that we can talk about tonight about our spiritual path, about being in flow, and about what happens when we do this type of work. Especially what happens from, again, how the universe responds to us choosing to do this work. It's very interesting. I see this pattern over and over again. And if you've been my student in any capacity, you've probably heard, and we've probably talked about it a bit, because we can't separate the two things. We can't separate our spiritual growth from this way that the universe seems to react to us when we choose to step into that spiritual path. So we'll get into that right after this. But I also want to call attention to my Substack. I don't know how many people know that I do a Substack now, and what I was guided to do, and I tell you guys this all the time. I really mean it. It's absolutely true. At no point do I sit down and go, what else should I do? Because if you know me, you know I'm already doing, we'll put quotes around it, too much. I don't actually think it's too much. I think it's perfect, but it's a lot of stuff. I do a lot of different things. And this is sometimes a problem for people where they're like, I don't get it. What are you? What do you do? And I'm like, well, have a seat and we'll talk about it. Like, there's a lot. So I know that I don't look for more things to do. But what my guides and allies told me I was supposed to do next was provide daily, is what I call it. It's a loose, not every day, but as many days as possible, I sit down and do a channeled message. Sometimes it's based on what I have been experiencing and I'm asking for clarity about, but the message is always universal. It always applies to all of us. It's just a human. So we're humans, we're souls. We're all actually experiencing the same thing, whether we know it or not. So all of these are universal, even when there's something based on what I have asked them for my own understanding. So these are what has populated my Substack most recently. If you're a supporter on Substack, you can get the entire message. You can also get the entire message if you're a supporter on Locals, rogue.locals.com. So that's already a place where people have been, where there's already a community, where I already post, where I already do extra content for people who are supporters there. So if you're already there, you don't need to also be on Substack. But if you'd like to, you can. But if you're also not yet on Rogue, but you do want to read or receive these channeled messages as they're coming out, then you do want to subscribe to Substack. So that is a little bit newer as well. Some of the ones that have been coming out are pretty intense. Some of them have to do with the future of the world. Really interesting things. And I tell you what, I learn so much from these, because there's even words and phrases sometimes that I have no idea what they mean. And then I go look them up and I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense, actually. So I'm very lucky to be able to have been guided to do this. And I would love to invite you all to come read and receive those messages as well. And again, like I said, anytime you're connecting with actual source energy, you are healing too. So you get more out of it than just reading this message. I get more out of it than that as well. So we're going to jump into it now. I'm going to therefore say goodbye to you over in YouTube. We've got Tinfoil Tiara and Yeti Slang, Lindsay 1454. All of you, I love you. It's not you, it's me. It's just a supporter only show. So if you want to jump over to Rockfin, you can do that with the link below you. Become a supporter. And again, it's $10 a month, but you get everybody's content there. And there are so many more people there all the time. Really big names are coming more and more. So there's a lot of exclusive content you get access to, not just mine. So I hope you'll come. And if you subscribe through my link, I do get an extra little bonus. So it is nice for me as well if you are going to come over to the Rockfin side. So otherwise, much love to you, YouTube. We will see you another time. Ciao.